Shalom, shalom, Israel, shalom. It's Brother Riot. I want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashem, Hamashiach, Wamalak, Yahweh Shah. Another strong shalom to all of the mighty brothers that go out there and labor on the highways and byways, making their body a living sacrifice. In the rain, the tumults, the demons, the uprises, the uproars, they're out there standing 10 toes down for the name of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah. Another strong shalom to all of the mighty brothers that are not out there as of yet, but they're building themselves up by reading, praying, fasting, doing everything they could do to put themselves in a position to go out there to shake the hand and wake up the hopeful elect. Another strong shalom to all of the mighty akwaf in this thing that actually reverence their husbands, being teachers of good things to the children at home, being quiet, shamefaced, submissive, loving, steadfast, cooking, sewing, cleaning, doing all of the righteous acts of our foremothers. Another strong shalom to all of the akwaf that are not married as of yet, but they're building themselves up, reading, praying, fasting, being shamefaced, doing everything they could do to magnify the ministry. Another strong shalom to all of the mighty children in this thing that are abstaining from all lust, concupiscence, and peer pressure, standing 10 toes down for the name of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah. It's going to be a quick exhortation video, right? Very quick through the spirit on not to faint. You understand? Because a lot of the times we get in certain situations and the first thing we think about is something negative, giving up, bowing down and sweating and feeling like we can't overcome or make it out of that situation. When in actuality, that's the part where we're supposed to be shining, man. That's the part where we're supposed to be glorified. That's the part where we're supposed to be removing all of the impurities and things that are within ourselves so that we can magnify the name of the Lord at that high status, man. A lot of people, you know, they faint in the furnace of adversity. We're literally created to go through the fire. We're created to catch pain, afflictions, and turmoils, and things that are uncomfortable. This life is uncomfortable. If you're comfortable in this life, you're probably not an Israelite. If you're comfortable in this life, well, brother, you're serving the spiritual demon Satan in this society and this earth. If you love the world, the world will love you back. If you're catching hell, stress, vexation of spirit, going through the climbing the mountain, overcoming the furnace of adversity and magnifying the name of the Lord without spot and without blemish, brother, that's what you should glory in, man. You have to glory in catching hell, man. I know that may be hard to swallow and perceive, or even to fathom, to think that you can do these things, but it's written, man. Our fathers have did it. Yahweh Shah the righteous have did it. All of the men of the Lord that caught hell have received an immortality, a crown laid up for them, man. And you have to understand and believe that through faith in our Lord Yahweh Shah. This is the book, right? Sirach chapter 34, right? In verse number 16. It says this: for the eyes of the Lord are upon them that love him, and he is their mighty protection and strong stay, a defense from heat, and a covering from the sun at noon. So the Most High is letting you know that it's going to get hot, man. The sun's going to come out at noon. And what does the sun do? It scorches you. The sun burns you. It boils your skin. Hey, the sun makes a lot of people faint, man. What happened to Judith's husband? He fainted in the barley harvest, man. You read about that in Judith, the 8th chapter. So even on a physical level, the sun could come out so strong and so potent that it can make the strongest man faint. It could even kill you, man. A lot of our forefathers died in the fields through the heat, but it's symbolic for affliction. A lot of people die in affliction. A lot of people faint in affliction. But through that water, through praying, through actual faith and believing, you could conquer all things. And the Most High told you he's your protection. Meaning the Most High is going to protect you even though that heat is on you. You may feel like there's no shade, there's no way out, there's no water, there's no protection, but the Lord is not a man that he should lie. There's protection there. It says this: from heat and a covering from the sun at noon, a preservation from stumbling, and a help from falling. So the Lord said he will help you from falling. And that sun, right, it'll scorch you in different ways that you've never even seen. You know, a lot of people think they're catching hell. But when you actually take a step back, it's somebody out here that's homeless. It's somebody out here that just lost their husband. You know, that either they went back in the world and forgot about them, or they died, man, or their wife. The Lord took the spirit from them and they're just completely rebellious, or they went back in the world, or they died, man. Children, People are sick with all type of pestilences and diseases. You have people that actually start to hear thoughts in their mind to curse the Lord. People that's given to doctrines. People that's poor, you understand, living in a situation to where they haven't eaten in 2 days. And you're complaining about bills, or you may be complaining about whatever it is that you're going through. You have to take a step back and say, well, what type of heat am I actually going through? And I can't be complaining or fainting when the Lord hasn't even turned the temperature up yet, man. We're entering into times of real trouble. When you watch the news, they told you in the next 8 months, we're going to enter into an overlapse recession, man. And everyone's going to feel it. What are you going to do when you actually cannot work a job anymore? When you're actually homeless? When you actually can't do the things that you do now to stay in the spirit? When they take the internet away? When that heat actually comes out? Because right now it's beyond in the clouds. You know, it'll come out and then the cloud will kind of cover it. And it's about to faint. You get some water, you drink the water, then it come back out, then it gets hot, then you take the wet towel, and then you damp it. That's the luxury we're living in now. But it's going to come a time where the Lord is going to clear out those clouds, man. And it's going to be you and the heat and the Most High. Through faith that he will protect you. And you got to believe that thing, man. This is what Job did. This is the book of Job, chapter 1, and verse number 20. We get about 2 more precepts. It's going to be a quick video. It's the book of Job, chapter 1, and verse number 20. It says, then Job arose and rent his mantle, and shaved his head, and fell down upon the ground, and worshipped. So when Job called hell, there's no account of him just saying, I give up. What do I do? Somebody please help me. What do I do, and who can I call? Or him just fainting and giving up, man, and putting the Bible down, picking up his understanding and picking up all type of manner of spirits that will drown you in sorrow, man, and manipulate your mind to have you not to be strong and have the faith. Job arose when all hell broke loose. A lot of people sit down. He actually got up. It says, and rent his mantle, and shaved his head, and fell down upon the ground and worshiped. When he gave all his strength to the Most High in the furnace of adversity. When he caught the most hell, where all hell was breaking loose, his children taken from him. You understand? His cattle taken from him. His sense of mind taken from him. Him not having friends right then and there to grieve with. Later on, they had to come grieve with him. But him catching all of this, his first reaction was to do what as a righteous man? Was to worship the Lord. To worship the Lord, man. It says, and he said, naked came I out of my mother's womb. And nobody here has came into this world with what you have now. You may have a car, but it gets taken from you. Then you get spirits and sorrow on you to the point you can't serve the Lord. But brother, you never even came into this life with it. What did you actually come into this life with? Nothing but the spirit of the Most High that was in you from the foundation of the earth. And that's all you need to the end of time. That's all you need till the chariots come. That's all you need till they put you to death. That's all. You don't need anything else, man. You don't actually need your husband for salvation. You don't need your wife for salvation. You don't need that car. You don't need that job for salvation, man. You do not need those clothes on your back. Whatever's taken from you, whatever affliction you're catching, brother, you have to really ask yourself, man. I was born in the most humblest of states that I could ever be in. Not knowing how to speak. Having to depend on somebody. And that'll really humble you, man. If you could be a so-called fly on the wall or a shadow in the room when you were a baby, how dependent you was and how you didn't ask for nothing and how you had nothing. That's how the Most High is saying that Job said he came into this thing naked out of his mother's womb. And naked shall I return thither, man. Meaning it is what it is. The Most High giveth, the Most High taketh away. What if the Most High taketh away everything you have, man? Did not Yahweh tell the rich man, sell everything that thou possesseth, man? Paraphrasing. But then he did what? He wept bitterly. Because we're attached a lot of the time to the things of this world and we don't even know it, man. You're attached to that woman or that man or that understanding, and you're attached to this job or this philosophy or this westernized mind, or whatever the case may be that you're attached to. You got to cut that thing off, man. And understand that any given second, The Most High can truly humble you and show you what affliction is all about. It says this, and naked shall I return thither. The Lord giveth, and the Lord have taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. In all this, Job sinned not, nor charged God foolishly. So a lot of people could charge the Most High foolishly, man, by their thoughts, not even what you say, right? Let me get Mark the 4th chapter real fast. It's the book of Mark chapter 4 and verse number 3. Hearken, behold, there went out a sower to sow. Now that sower to sow is Yahweh Shah the righteous. He's sowing seeds in the earth to wake you up to your nationality on who you are, to the knowledge of truth. And on another fold, we're the sowers, the men of the Lord that come out on the highways and byways to wake up the people. It says, and it came to pass, as he sowed, some fell by the wayside, and the fowls of the air came and devoured it up. It's going to be a lot of people that fall, man. And falling in the last days is going to come like you see a squirrel, man, or a bird, or an ant, or some type of wind blowing, man. It's going to be so rapid and so normal that it's not going to be scary anymore. Right now, it's scary when somebody fall out the truth. Damn, that could have been me. But as temperature rises, inflation rises, death rates rise, horror rises, pestilence rises, fear rises, and different things in our life that change our comfortability to what we have now that we're complaining about now. And that sun actually scorches to its peak, because its peak is at 12 o'clock, the noonday. Right now, the peak right now for you, it may be 9 o'clock in the morning. It could get hot at 9 o'clock in the morning in the summertime. You know, it may be 11 o'clock to you, almost 2:12, maybe 10:30 on a spiritual level to you. You feel the sun, but when it reaches its peak, brother, you're going to have to understand and really know that this is it. This is what I've been studying for. This is the faith that I've been built up to have. This is the moment. This is the hour of temptation. And it's not always talking about being put to death, because you could be met with an option or a situation that you don't pass, that the spiritual demon overthrows you, and your last step would have been the last step in this truth. It says, and some fell on stony ground where it had not much earth, meaning it didn't have enough roots for you to grow down into. You may fall on a surface level, get a little understanding, endure for a second. A lot of people endure for a second, but it's not immaculate or amazing that you've been in this truth for 2 years, man. 3 years, 5 years. Peter has been in the truth since he was born and never ate anything common, as he said, man. Imagine a life to where you knew the law as soon as you were born and never had to take shrimp, crab, lobster, or any abominations, man. That's a mighty lot. And our forefathers were actually in the truth. They followed the Lord. They knew things. This life that we're in right now, it's new. We just got born again. We're learning new things. So we have to learn that much more and build ourselves up that much stronger to endure until the end. Because we didn't have the amount of years of studies and understanding and faith that our forefathers did. The Most High gave it all as a record in the last days. And it's up to you to read it, apply it, and have the type of sense of faith and stability to endure. It says this, and sprang up because it had no depth of earth. But when the sun was up, it was scorched. And the sun doesn't scorch you immediately. You don't go outside and you go inside, then you black. No, you go outside, then you start to feel it. He's like, damn, it's hot out here, man. Then it starts to get damn uncomfortable. You're sitting up there, you're about to faint. You need some water. You may go like this to get some shade. That sun is going to start to scorch you. We're all in the Most High's vineyard. And we're all Most High willing lilies, pleasant to the Most High for the plucking in the harvest. Now, in that day, if that lily isn't spotless, blameless, watered to perfection, growing to its peak, and spread it and bloomed, ready for the harvest, and you present yourself before the Lord, browned, and that's spiritual, man. Because when the sun scorches you, it deteriorates the leaves and the plants and the blossoms and things that are on it, and makes it brown and dark. The same way, if you have a garment on, you don't want any spots on it. When that sun starts to scorch you, you don't have the strength to stay strong and understand that the Most High, through his Son, is going to put a protection over you, and you don't believe that for it to happen, it says, and because it had no root, meaning you really didn't have no faith. The root is a sense to where you can't be moved. My woman, my job, my mother, my father, my daughter, my uncle, my grandfather, nobody's going to move me out of this truth if it be the Most High's will, Most High willing. But if something can move you out of this truth, you never had a root. You never had a sense of firm faith and belief in the foundation. If somebody can move your spirit to the point where you deny the Lord, or move your spirit to the point where you're in a doctrine, or move your spirit to the point where you're double thinking if Yahweh Shai is even his real name. You never really had a root. A lot of brothers run to be grown, but they never run down to plant themselves so they can grow. It's very important. The more you know about the law, the more you fear the Most High, the more you keep the commandments, the more you have faith, you're doing one thing. You're building up your roots, which is your foundation, so that as you grow, when the wind blows, when doleful creatures invade the vineyard, when all hell breaks loose and the sun scorches, that you'll be able to stand firm in the days to come. It says, had no root, it withered away. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked it, and it yielded no fruit. And another fell on good ground, and it did yield fruit and sprang up and increased, and brought forth some 30, some 60, and some 100. And that's the type of thing that everybody should be aspiring to do, to grow fruit, to be firmly planted and not be scorched in the day of adversity. Because the Most High, if it be of his will have mercy on your soul, man. But you got to believe that. You know, you can't deny it. I don't know. You know, Peter hanging upside down on the cross, man. You know, Mark getting whooped and Andrew getting slayed, and these men in that position that they were in couldn't say that the Lord abandoned me. You don't know what the end lot is of your life and what the Most High has designed for you. He may want you to be so uncomfortable to the fact that you even think if he's even with you. And that will be the very moment where you pass your test and you enter into everlasting life and endure and have the crown. Even the two thieves, right? The men, the damn murderers, man. It was on the side of Yahweh. Hey, what happened? Hey, the Lord said, thy faith have saved thee, man, paraphrasing. And thou shalt enter into paradise. So the Lord had mercy on whom he had mercy. So your faith in that estate of having no hope is what the Most High is looking for. Because you got a hope in Yahweh Shai. You got a hope for everlasting life. You got a hope for change. A hope that the Most High is going to be with you until the end. It says all of our forefathers died in faith when you read the book of Hebrews, the 11th chapter. And that's spiritual. Nobody got the crown. You never see, okay, he walked up, he put his head down, and it wasn't a vision, and it actually happened. No, nobody got the crown yet. We're all aspiring and running and to obtain immortality in the crown that is laid up for the saints from the foundation of the earth. And I'm going to pull this last precept. It's the book of Revelation chapter 3 and verse number 2. Be watchful and strengthen the things which remain that are ready to die, for I have not found thy works perfect before God. So you have to strengthen up things that you have in yourself that are dying off. Because as they die off, a part of you goes back to the grave. And it inches back into that old man, which denies the blood of Yahweh Shai and his resurrection of your spirit. And it's essentially treading underfoot the grace and mercy that the Lord has given you, man, and blaspheming the Holy Spirit. It says, remember therefore how thou hast received and heard, and hold fast, and repent. If therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come unto thee as a thief, and thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee. So the Lord is telling you plain upon tables, if you're not watching, he's going to come, visit you, and blow your candlestick out. And he's not going to give you a warning. Continue to be diligent, steadfast, understanding that any given second you could be met with the spiritual demon Satan to manipulate you, take your mind off of Yahweh Shai, and further push you in utter darkness in the abyss, back in the world, back into God knows what. So you have to be wise as a serpent, right? You got to know how to move. You got to be instant in prayer. You got to have faith, and you got to endure until the end. And with that, I'm going to close out, giving all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, by Shema Mashiach, wa Malak, Yahushua, Shalom.